Well, Megan, first of all, I just want you to know that you are one of my absolute favorite people. So I just overall love your overall energy and vibe, and you are just an amazing human being. So
I feel the exact same way. Actually, I'm kind of obsessed with you in a not weird way. I just think you're the best ever. So I'm very excited for this.
That's why I'm super excited too, and I'm super excited to just have a little chat with you and talk about kind of what you do.
Okay.
The business that you and Dirk have built, I love it. And I love it for the reason especially that you guys focus on resistance training. I think that is essential for women, especially as an anti-aging strategy. There's so many things, and you know about a lot of them, and you talk about this all the time, but there's so many reasons why an increased muscle mass is better for you, whether it's, as you know, increases your bone density, prevents fractures when you're older. It helps a lot with glucose metabolism and insulin sensitivity. And there was even something I learned earlier this week that I thought was fascinating. You probably already know this, but that it actually helps with your cognitive health. So tell me about that particular hormone.
I've actually done probably not as much research as you have, but I was looking over one day all of the benefits of strength training, and it just kind of shocked me that they said it can be very, very, it can just help a ton with not like your brain health and not developing Alzheimer's as you age. So I was very excited about that because that is one thing that we're all very scared about is someday that your memory goes. So just keeping your brain health, like I even promote, creatine. I think that's a good...
Creatine is essential. That's huge.
Yeah, so we're big on developing that muscle mass and then creatine so that you can live your best, longest, healthiest life. And I just can't express that enough that, you know how you always think that you're just thinking better when you're working out? Like your brain's just working better?
Absolutely.
I really feel like that.
Everything works better when you're working out.
Everything works better when you're working out. And I want more people to experience like how good that feels, that you are, when you feel strong and confident and your health is at an all-time high, you feel unstoppable.
You do, absolutely.
Yes.
The days that I don't work out, like it's not, even for my mental health, it's essential for my mental health.
I'm a better wife, mother, leader, business owner, everything when I get my workout in. I'm kind of a pain in the butt if I don't get my workout in that
100%. There are days definitely when my husband will say to me like, so have you worked out yet?
Have you moved today?
Like, what can I do to get you a workout in?
Yeah.
That's when I know.
Yeah.
So going back to that Alzheimer's prevention, the hormone that what I was telling you I actually learned even this week, which I think is so fun about longevity medicine, is that we're constantly learning in this field and there's constantly new material. But I learned that the hormone that muscles put out, it's called irisin. Mm-hmm. It actually signals the brain to make more neurons, which I just thought was absolutely fascinating. So again, just a huge shout out to you and what you're doing for everybody, but especially for women's health, because I feel like they haven't really, most women's health fitness programs, they focus on cardio and less on strength. And I just love that you guys really, really focus on resistance training.
I always say that skinny is out and strong is in, because we all went through where
strong is the new pretty.
Strong is the new pretty. Right? Yep, you look better naked if you're strong. I always say that too. But no, it's just we all went through that phase where we tried to be as skinny as possible.
Right. Yep.
And I remembered I had headaches all the time. I was weak. I was not confident in myself. I didn't feel good. I tried to do that in college. I tried to do all of the diet fads, all the pills, all that stuff, and I just kick myself now because I just can't believe. I always say I just turned 33, and I would take how I feel at 33 over how I felt at 23 any day of the week.
100%. 100%.
Any day of the week, because I figured out to fuel my body and to be strong. And like, I want to be as strong as I can be, and the number on the scale doesn't affect me whatsoever because of how I feel and how I feel I look in my clothes and just the confidence that I have in myself. And if we could get back to more about how do you feel? Like, how do you feel every day? How strong do you feel? How confident are you in yourself? Can you carry your kids around? Can you get up and down off the floor and play with your kids? Do you feel like you're going to be able to get up off the floor playing with your grandkids? That's what I'm focused on. Like, I want to be the grandparent that can take my grandkids hiking.
Absolutely. And I think what we need to help women understand is it's not just the weight on the scale anymore. And for so many years we wanted to be a certain pound, and that was going to make us feel good. And so really what we want to try to do is change your body composition, because it matters, what's on the inside matters, not what's on the outside. It doesn't matter how big or small you are, but once you kind of take a look on the inside of your body and determine how much of your body is skeletal muscle mass versus body fat, we really want to even that out and make that going in the right directions. We want to increase that skeletal muscle mass and decrease the body fat, so the changes on the scale matter less than really what your body fat composition is.
100%. And it's a leap, like a mental barrier you have to get over. But once you can get over, like, every day weighing on the scale or thinking that's the number, and instead be like, how much weight did I lift today?
Right.
Like
how much stronger did I get today?
Yeah,
how much better do I feel?
Yeah, and did I fuel my body appropriately? Did I get in enough protein today? Am I focused on nutrition? Am I eating less processed food? Am I drinking water instead of 10 iced coffees? That is just a complete game changer for your mental and physical health.
So tell me, we know that there's a lot of people that this works great for, but tell me, you've told me before that you have had some clients where it doesn't seem to matter what they are doing. They're doing all the right things. They're following your program even 5 or 6 times a day. They're doing your strength training.
A week.
They're eating
5
right.
or 6 times a week.
Oh, sorry, yeah, a day. A day.
I was like,
she
oh,
does
no.
not make people do
No,
this 5 times a day
no.
per week.
Yeah.
And so tell me about those people. They're eating right. They're getting in enough protein, but they're still not making gains, and some of them are even going backwards. So tell me, what do those people say? How are they feeling? What are they telling you?
Well, usually it's a very stressed out mom, and I understand that, or somebody that's, is getting, in their late 30s, early 40s. I see that a lot.
Right.
They're stressed out and they're like always on the go, but they're trying really hard to get their workouts in. They're eating the right things. I do really question them on that, because sometimes people, they think they're eating right and they're not, But once I get past that and I'm like, oh, you really are, you're logging your food, you're tracking, you're trying. I'm always like, well, have you seen a functional medicine? Because I truly feel that there's probably something wrong with their hormones. And that's why I'm so glad that we partnered with you guys, because that was way out of my scope. But I really do think that there are so many hormone imbalances. I'm one of them. I am somebody who is completely by the book, 100%. Like I fuel my body, I eat super clean, I work out really hard, I strength train, and I lift super heavy. And I had to come to you guys for help. And I was so relieved when I found you, because you guys validated, like, why can't I get these few extra pounds off? What's wrong with me? Why am I not losing it?
And that's a big part of it when you say we validated maybe what you were going through, is a lot of people just want to be heard, and they want someone to listen to them and really understand their symptoms and know that, there are options and there are tools that we can use to help them with that. So going back to these women and how they feel and they're not making gains, and you yourself, you said you've been a part of that. Hormone replacement therapy is a big part of that. And so we want to encourage women to really consider that as part of their plan. There has been so much misunderstanding over the last few decades in regards to hormone replacement therapy.
It sounds scary.
It is. People are scared now, but most of that evidence in literature has really been disproven. And I think people are really starting to wake up that's an essential part of women's health. And it can help you across the decade. Different hormones can help you in your teenage years, in your early 20s, and then as you get into your 30s and 40s, into the perimenopause stages, and even later after menopause. There's different ways that different hormones can help you. But really, when it goes back to, so we fully support hormone replacement therapy, and that's part of what we do here, but also what is also essential is looking into the other aspects. It's actually critical looking into the other aspects of your health, because if you're only getting hormone replacement therapy in one way or another, and your provider is not looking into, again, cortisol levels and your HPA axis, how that is working, if they're not looking into metabolic syndrome to see if you've got some early prediabetes going on or your hemoglobin A1C is climbing, if they're not looking at your thyroid to make sure that your thyroid's not underperforming or you have high inflammatory markers in your body or your gut microbiome is off, there's all these other aspects to your body on what could be going on, so that if you only get hormone replacement therapy, a lot of times that's not going to work, because everything in your body is talking to each other, especially those main ones between cortisol, thyroid, metabolic syndrome, and hormones. They're all interconnected. So if one of them is off, all these pieces of your body is going to be off.
And I learned that very quickly from you, and I didn't feel good. And I was very thankful that you took the time to evaluate everything, and that's why I always recommend you to all of my clients. I push Angela very hard because I love her, but I love the whole crew here. But it was just like I came in here. We have
an amazing team.
Yes, you really do. I can't recommend you guys enough. But I came in here and I felt like validated finally. Like, I'm a trainer. I shouldn't have these issues going on. I was at like the most stressful time in my life. I have 3 young children running all over the place trying to take care of them. But also my husband and I own 2 businesses. And we had just gotten a business off the ground. Our stress levels were, you go into debt doing that. Our stress levels were at an all-time high. And I just kept telling myself that I just need to work harder. I needed to eat better. And nothing was working. And then we come in here and find I have very high cortisol. My progesterone was super low, and you just did some pretty simple changes for me.
Sometimes it is that simple.
It was very simple changes, and I feel like I'm functioning at the top of my game now finally. And it's things that I'm going to continue to work on, but you were like, you need to get some stress out of your life. And I love that you had like that hard conversation with me. You were like, I think that you need to take a day off of work, Megan, and you need to put your phone down, Megan. And I just appreciated that. I felt like you were being like a good friend to me, not just a doctor who was like, I can prescribe you this, this, and this, and be on your way. You gave me great life advice.
I think that is one of the really fun things that I love about doing this, and longevity and functional medicine both, is that you really get to develop a relationship with your client and have a connection with them. And you really, our job here is, and what we try to do here is really be a guide for you. We want to give you, we're all trained on the American Board of Anti-Aging, so we know the most up-to-date literature out there. And so we just want to really empower you to really find out what your goals are, and then help you get there. So
I love that. I also enjoy hearing about all this stuff because I'm in the health and fitness field, and every time I come in here, I love that you're like, I just read this, and we'll be like, oh, really? And we're like discussing it and like kind of nerding out over it. And I love that you're,
to nerd out on that.
Yeah,
and you enjoy it too, so that is super fun.
Yeah, so maybe like some clients would be like, okay, just fix me. But I was like, I love hearing this, and I love that I love people who constantly want to be better in their field. Like that is something that is super important to me. Like that's why I'm constantly in here bothering all of you guys, because I love being around you all. But I like people who are like always trying to level up. Like they're trying to be better, and that's what you guys do, and I appreciate that.
That really is our focus, because we want to sit down with you, and that is what we do in our initial visit and consultation too, is we ask you, tell me what your concerns are, and then let's establish some goals. What goals do you want to reach? Because yes, like we want to accelerate your wellness, but we really want to elevate your life, and like how do we make you be better, but it's a team effort. I'm able to help you understand the literature that is out there and the tools and the options, but it really is you who's going to have to make some of the changes, whether they be lifestyle, and make some of the commitments and do some of the work. So it really is a team effort.
100%. And I trust you, and I took everything that you said very seriously, and it was really cool to watch from going from like I have to be a highly functioning person in the morning. And I was like all ramped up for my workouts and then just crashing afterwards. And then when you explained cortisol and helped me to kind of manage that, I watched as I've been able to function mid-morning now and just be a better mom and a better wife. I found I was just kind of overwhelmed and stressed and tired and anxious. And
quite honestly, that is every woman and every mother at some part in their life, and men too. We see a lot of men who are going through the same thing. Like when and you especially, you're a leader in your community, you're a business owner, you're a mom, you've got all these other things going on. So cortisol is essential to get that back onto its correct path. And so really what you should be doing is checking your cortisol multiple times a day. And so we have testing for that. And so we usually do about 4 to 6 times a day. And then we see if your cortisol is in the correct pattern, because what it's supposed to be doing is right in the morning, it's supposed to be a little bit low, and then it's supposed to spike. And that's the whole idea of you supposed to be getting out in your day and doing everything that you can do. But then it's supposed to drop. And then it's supposed to remain pretty low for the rest of the day. That's kind of the normal pattern of cortisol in one day. And what happens is when people get under stress or burnout or chronic stress in their life, their cortisol shoots up. Because it's trying to compensate and be able to handle everything that's going on. And we don't really know how long that cortisol is high. It might be elevated for weeks or months or years. We don't really know. But eventually, the adrenal glands are going to signal, because cortisol, it's great. It's a great hormone. It's one of the most necessary hormones, but it's also a wear and tear hormone. So at some point, the brain decides you've had too much and it's toxic to the brain. So the brain signals to the adrenal glands to shut it down. And so then your cortisol becomes really low, which is actually an even worse problem. It's when what you talk about in burnout and that fatigue and later in the day where you feel like you're just so tired and all you need to do is take a nap. That's in those burnout stages. And so going back to when we check your cortisol, we kind of see what pattern you're in. Are you in a really high cortisol pattern? Are you in a really low cortisol pattern? Or are you bouncing in between high and low? Because those 3 things actually require 3 different treatments. And so if you were in the high stage, we might treat you one way. If you're bouncing in between, that's another way. And then if you're in that really low stage, we're going to do some other things for you. So
I was very thankful because that's something that I could have never figured out on my own.
Right.
You know, no matter how deep you are in the health and fitness field, if I don't have the ability to test that, I'll never be able to figure
People
that
just
out.
don't know that there's actual treatment for it. So it's kind of a fascinating field. I think the biggest thing that I want women to know is just to have hope. Like if they're really feeling stuck and not feeling well and fatigued and tired and frustrated that they can't make gains in their fitness goals and they're actually gaining weight and not losing it, and they're struggling with stress and burnout and all the things that women struggle with, I want them to know that there's hope for them. There's actual actionable things that we can do, and there's tools that can really, really help them. And then I think the second thing that I would really want them to know is it is okay to take care of yourself first. We take care of, as women, we take care of everybody else. And I think that really needs to be reversed. I think you need to take care of yourself first. Every woman needs to look out for herself, be an advocate for herself. She might need to, research it. If she's seeing a provider that is telling her that there's nothing they can do, she needs to go find a different provider. We really need to change that because we're all going to be better mothers, better wives, better leaders, better at everything if we just take care of ourselves first.
And I am proof of that. I finally started I kept thinking that I could just go and go and go and go until basically the wheels fell off. And I wasn't. I was stressed. I was anxious, like I said, and I didn't feel like I was the best version of myself for those around me. And when I started taking some time and focusing on my health and got to meet with you and realized that there was things I could do to help myself, it was life-changing. So thank you for that.
Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your life and giving me the opportunity. It's been an absolute pleasure.